especially now with everything that's going on. There's so much chaos, so much things that we don't like, but to not allow ourselves to be distracted off our path, because it's like we're being taken away from our own divine path, taken away from our soul's path. And when we choose to move in the direction of love, from the inspiration of our higher self, then we're more in alignment with those divine energies. And that is so empowering. And when we're empowered, we feel less anxious by all this illusion, all this circus that's taking place that deliberately wants to distract us.
And using, I think, your emotional state, your emotional well-being as a barometer to what's happening. And the fact that, you know, because a lot of times it's very easy to get lost into the emotion of things that are happening, allowing ourselves to get angry with something and then staying in that energy of anger, which causes us to focus even more on that thing that we don't like.
And I have these little notes that stuck around the house, and this one says, "Hey there, beautiful soul. Which empowered thoughts are you choosing to think at this moment? Be the love." Because when you choose to really think thoughts that do empower you, we feel just so much more in alignment, so much more balanced. Hello and welcome. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining us on these Soul to Soul podcasts, these conversations that we really help to educate, well, inspire you more than anything, and help you feel a real connection to a sense of community. And we truly mean that. You know, if ever you're having a really difficult time, always reach out to us through email, through my website. Please do, because there's just, anyway, we'll talk about more things later on. But I'm Caroline Crawford.
And I'm Paul Crawford. And on this podcast, we're going to be talking about the magnetizing your magnificence. And really, it's just stepping into our true power and really honouring that and that whole process. As well as a few words of wisdom from Jarama, so long as we have time for them to come through. But yeah, I think most of all, it's very much about just appreciating what we can do in this moment and just how wonderful we are.
Yeah. Please remember, I've got to encourage you more and more to hit that like button even on YouTube, and please share. When you comment on YouTube, it really helps the algorithms and it helps us to grow. So honestly, we're just from our hearts, we'd really appreciate you doing that. So comment, hit the like button, and of course share with those that you think may be interested and will benefit from these podcasts. So Paul.
So I think really it's, I think for me, one of the key elements is about distractions and avoiding those. And that really leads on to, well, what are we being distracted by? And really, which means if we're being distracted by something, that means we're being distracted from something. And that from is really where we want to go. So it's very much about focusing on where we're going rather than on what we want to do and what we like rather than what we don't like. And I think particularly this is going to be very prevalent at this current time and moving forward, because there's going to be a lot of issues that come up that will act as a distraction, but also in just your everyday lives. There's those minor little things that can cause the same disarray and keep us from our true pathway, our true evolvement.
Yeah, and I think now, you know, it's so important that, again, we just remind ourselves that we're in this process of expanding our consciousness, expanding, moving into completely new realities, ones that the earth has maybe never seen before. You know, there's a lot of talk, and I agree with this. We are moving into this golden age. And to do that, we are all a valuable part of that. So it's so important that, you know, as Paul says, we're especially now with everything that's going on. There's so much chaos, so much things that we don't like, but to not allow ourselves to be distracted off our path, because it's like we're being taken away from our own divine path, taken away from our soul's path. And when we choose to move in the direction of love from the inspiration of our higher self, then we're more in alignment with those divine energies. And that is so empowering. And when we're empowered, we feel less anxious by all this illusion, all this circus that's taking place that deliberately wants to distract us. Why does it want to distract us? Well, my thoughts on that are that they know how profoundly and immensely powerful we are when we are in connection with our divine self, our soul, our spirit, our oversoul, our higher self, whatever you want to call it, our sovereignty. And that's what they want to distract us from through this kind of conditioning, through so many centuries, that so many of all you now, you beautiful souls, you star seeds, you evolved, wise, divine beings of light. You know, we all know that we've chose to be here at this time. And it is so important now that we again come together with this positive energy, this empowering energy. And I just feel so passionate about it that, you know, it's just not from our divine self when we're anxious, and that's what this distraction wants to cause us. So ask yourself, is this distraction, is it making me feel good? Because I bet you 100% it isn't. You know,
yeah, and I think really, and using, I think your emotional state, your emotional well-being as a barometer to what's happening, and the fact that, you know, because a lot of times it's very easy to get lost into the emotion of things that are happening, allowing ourselves to get angry with something and then staying in that energy of anger, which causes us to focus even more on that thing that we don't like. And really, it's about taking back control, taking back and standing in the power of ourselves through our own choices. Because through those choices, we start to create the life that we want. We start to be steered in the direction that we really desire to go towards. And I think from that, as Caroline was saying, we start to regain our sovereignty. And it's very much about allowing ourselves to do that and realizing that it's down to us. It's down to us to make new choices, to let go and move away from those old ways of doing things into the new ways and more empowering ways.
Yeah, because I think as we consciously choose and we move away from these distractions, we then inevitably begin to bring that expanded consciousness into this world, making your reality one of what you really want it to be, one of beauty, one of creativity, one of joy, one of greater resonance with all that is. Because all the divine, all these angels, these ascended masters, you know, the celestial beings, the life force, the God, the source, whatever you call it, that is all wanting to support us. That isn't wanting us or encourage us in any way to be distracted by the things that, the darker things that do upset us, that deliberately set out to cause fear. You know, so taking back our power, regaining our power, as Paul said, rather than losing ourselves to the inevitability of what may happen, you know, is it going to happen, may it happen, but just taking back and regaining through our conscious awareness, through our connection to our divine self, then we're letting go, you know, affirm every day, you know, we're not going to be chastised into making or feeling that we're being controlled, because no divine being would ever want to control us, you know, and that's that real wisdom that's coming through now, that wants to be aware of this conditioning that's taken place over centuries. But so many of us now realize this, and this is where, when these distractions that are going on, however big they are, you know, it's just so important that they're wanting us to look in that direction, because they don't want us to look within, because that is where, you know, I've said this before and I'll continue to say it. See yourself, visualize yourself now, close your eyes and imagine yourself as, see the divine source, maybe see divine source, mother, father, divine source as a beautiful light, maybe as a sun, whatever works for you. And we were all created from that divine essence. So we're part of that, created in perfection to love, to be compassionate, to live a life of pure abundance without any limitation. And that's where our truth lies. And that's where these other forces want to distract us, because they know that is where our immense power lies. So take that control of your thoughts. Even remember, Paul and I catch ourselves sometimes, don't we, about the conversations you're having, because you can get carried away with, oh, this is happened, that's happened, they said this, they said that, you know, he said, she said.
Yeah. And it is.
No.
Yeah. It's so easy as well to get into to that sort of like, it snowballs. What starts off as a general sort of like a light-hearted maybe comment on something can very quickly evolve into something that creates a much stronger negative energy within us. And so therefore I think, and this is what I said earlier about, you know, realizing what our emotional state is, what's happening within us. And as we do that, we actually really are taking back control. We're actually stepping into our true power. And from that point, we can then make more empowering decisions. But also remembering that we've been, over the last few years, we've actually gone through a lot of stuff that's been somewhat negative, and has created a lot of conditions that are not what we consider the general norm. And there's been a lot of restriction, there's been a lot of conflict. And I think there's even the very minor elements, the minor annoyances can also have a very strong effect on us. Because often those annoyances can go almost unnoticed. But each time it's building up and it's building up, so that we become annoyed and that negativity stays within us. And then, but we accept that as the norm, our normal way of being, our normal way of existing. And then something else annoys us, and then that becomes our normal way of being. And the next thing you know, we're very much filling ourselves with a lot of restriction, a lot of limitation. So now's the time to really let ourselves be free, and to let go, and to move and focus on what we want and where we want to head. And realizing that we have that, as Caroline was saying, we have that infinite ability to do that.
Yeah. And I think now there's so many movements and information on good things about our self-realization, about the creator, with who we truly are within us. And the more we can keep expanding on that and reminding ourselves, and you know, I'm going to show you this. I have little notes. Friends that come to my home, our home, know, you know, I'm very much, because sometimes we do need a reminder. And I have these little notes that stuck around the house. And this one says, "Hey there, beautiful soul. Which empowered thoughts are you choosing to think at this moment? Be the love." Because when you choose to really think thoughts that do empower you, we feel just so much more in alignment, so much more balanced. And that's what, you know, you hopefully want for yourself. I mean, think of someone you love. we'd want nothing more for them to feel strong, feeling balanced, feeling in tune. That was one of my speakers that were on, feeling in tune with the divine. So, you know, it's not about what others are doing. Our path is never about, our journey of our soul is never about what others are doing. It's always about what we are doing, what we are choosing, and what we as individuals are creating. And I will say this, you know, be discerning with who you spend your time with, because, you know, when you know Paul and I, we're very compassionate. We're, you know, I'd like to say we are good people. But, you know, I do find it, and I'm going to say this, very challenging to be around people that moan a lot, that complain a lot. And I have to remove myself from that without feeling guilty, because I think a lot of us think, oh, but I feel sorry for them, or, you know, that is a victim mentality, you know. So I if I'm with somebody that's feeling a bit negative, because we all have our moments, then I'll try and change the subject to something more positive, you know, turn that around. But if there's somebody that is consistently like that, then, you know, in love and compassion for myself and my mental well-being, I will take a step back, because it's not good for us. It's our soul wants nourishment, our soul wants uplifting, our soul wants beautiful, deep, creative, expansive conversations. And that's where I feel this last few years I've really moved more towards that, without feeling, you know, guilty or bad about removing myself from certain individuals or people. Not that I have to do it very often, because I think when we resonate at a positive vibration, we magnetize people towards us that are of the same resonance of us. And, you know, we have just such a wonderful circle of friends here in so many aspects of our life, you know, in so many areas of our life. So do bear that in mind.
And that isn't being selfish to do that.
No.
It's actually honouring yourself. And as you honour yourself more in that way, you start to it's another step towards regaining your true power and your true balance. It's like if an environment, if you go to a noisy bar or somewhere, or a noisy place somewhere, and it's really affecting you, what's the best thing to do? And that is move somewhere a bit quieter. And I think in the same way, make this whole process a lot easier for ourselves. And the way we do that is to start removing those distractions. Now, it might be that it's watching the certain TV programs. It's reading certain news articles. As Caroline was saying, it's being around certain people. So, you know, start to make more beneficial decisions as part of that choice process. And I think also in allowing yourself to really just still be you, but a more improved you.
Yeah, honouring you, honouring the sacredness of all life, because, you know, I just think that's so important now. That I'm just going to ask you to bring Jarama through in a moment, because I'm aware of the time. But, you know, as we allow this transition from what has been into what will be, we're creating this new reality built on wisdom, built on our sacredness, that we are sacred divine beings, and enjoy deeper conversations, enjoy a deeper understanding, enjoy the aspects of your soul. I invite it in every day, and I just love the feeling I get, you know, and it just helps me feel happier, helps me feel stronger and more creative, but most of all, more aligned to my divinity. And we're all, you know, on this path of walking home, but supporting one another in loving ways, with that appreciation of our differences, with that appreciation of of the real love that is now truly expanding within us from the higher consciousness, from the divine. Oh, it's so good to feel drama coming through. I'm going to allow them to speak. Welcome.
Hello, my friends. It is important for you to realize that there is always something you can do. Sometimes that thing for you to do is to allow yourself to be still. Because when you allow yourself to be still, you're giving yourself time to think and time to realize maybe just what is taking place within yourself or where you were heading towards with something. And then through that greater awareness, you can become the true you. The true you that is meant to be, the true you that you signed up as you return to this journey in this physical existence. You signed up to be here now at this time. And realizing that times really may at times seem difficult, but it's not really. Not if you allow yourself to expand into all that you can be. Because as you allow yourself to expand into all you can be, you become more of your authentic self. And as you become more of your authentic self, you are reclaiming your sovereignty. And we realize that these are words that are often used and said, but it is so important for you to realize this whole process. You know the answers. You know the answers that you need as it is your own journey. You may be inspired by others. You may inspire others. But really your focus is about yourself. And as has already been said, that is not an act of selfishness. That is an act of kindness to your own pathway. Allowing yourself to realize just what you can create by stepping into the power of that infinite divine energy that you are. And we can tell you now that this is possible. Because if it were not, you would not be here now. So allow yourself the freedom to move into a new direction, a new form of yourself. Almost see yourself shape-shifting, but have fun with it. Allow yourself to become this very flexible and malleable existence. Because your non-physical is just like that. It is very much aware of everything that goes on, but it doesn't allow itself to become attached to anything that takes away from its form. So bring that ethos into your everyday life. If something detracts from you, if something detracts from the joy that you are experiencing within this life, then ask yourself, what choices and what decisions and what point of focus am I doing to allow this to take place and to take hold of me and to affect me in this way? So be courageous, my friends. We are here to support you. Your ancestors are all around you. Your loved ones that have passed over are also around you to assist you, to help guide you, and to bring that strength to aid your progress in this physical world. But play your part. And you play your part by taking on and being responsible for what you are creating, for what you are allowing yourself to be distracted by. You are powerful beyond anything that you can imagine at this time. So every day, allow yourself to step into the stillness and to connect to that energy of that sovereign self that you are, and become the authority of your life. And as you do so, you will be filled with a great clarity. You will be filled with an uplifting energy. And you will know what you need to do and the decisions that you need to make in your life so that you can become this expanded being in this physical journey. Remember, you are love. You are infinite. And therefore, you are divine. Take care, my friends. We are here for you, and we always will be. Shine your light. Shine your personality with joy, with upliftment, with an understanding, and always without any form of judgment. Goodbye, my friends.
Always love that energy and such wisdom that they know just what we need at this time. So thank you, Jarama, and thank you, Paul. So yes, be aware of a lot more distractions to come, and just be distracted by your inner self, by your truth, by remembering who you are, and that you can activate your valuable role in this kind of revolution that's taking place now as we move into this humanity's awakening further and further. So be a way shower, speak your truth with love and compassion, and as Jarama says, shine your light and be who you are, because you are a most wonderful, powerful, compassionate, loving and wise, beautiful being of light. I hope you can feel my love. Remember, keep coming together with those like-minded souls, join in meditations whenever you can. Let that stillness give you the power and the inspiration that you need to create that reality of this beautiful golden age that we are moving into.
Remember, everything is possible from the infinite potentiality of who we are. So let's bring that energy in and let's show ourselves and therefore everything that exists the way forward with love, with understanding. And really don't allow yourself to become a victim to feeling that you need retribution in some way. And I remember, just very quickly, I'll say this before we go, but I think it was, and I mentioned this just the other week from a talk that I gave at a church, and it was, I think it was Gandhi who said, if we all took an eye for an eye, the whole world would be blind.
Yeah.
And it really sort of resonated with me. And I thought, yeah, that's so true. You know, we have to be the bigger person. We have to be the bigger energy and allow ourselves to step into the truth of that loving action.
I mean, I always say if people has done a not very nice act or said something nasty, that isn't coming from their truth. So if it isn't truth, then it can't affect us. And that has helped me through many times, because, you know, as intuitive and as, you know, strong as we are, we're still very sensitive. So let that be a guide for you. Thank you so much for joining us on this podcast. We just always appreciate your presence. We really look forward to your comments. So do leave your thoughts on any of this, on, you know, what you're moving away from these distractions. What do you like to connect into, to expand your consciousness? But remember, we all have the master within us. We have the angels within us, the archangels. Connect to those, because they walk with us every single divine step of the way. We just have to be open to that, invite that in, and listen, and then take action and allow our words to come from that beautiful place within us. I love you with all my heart.
Before we do then, because we hadn't realised this, that this is the last one of this season.
Oh, well, we're not doing one in August.
No.
Well, that is because more exciting news. So we met our family, as you know, in Jamaica for just a week. But Paul is going, well, you tell them what you're doing.
Well, I'm going over to England, spend some time with family there and some friends. And then I'll be coming back with our beautiful granddaughter, who will be staying with us for a number of weeks before Caroline then takes her back to England.
Yeah, and sees all my family and my beautiful friends in England. And I think you can tell I'm rather excited to have our granddaughter here. So that's going to be a wonderful time.
So we're going to be recommencing in October.
If we do get a chance to do anything short and sweet, we'll put it up on our channel. But just know that you can connect to us, reach out to us at any time. And just, again, deep appreciation and all our love for joining us, for spending your time to listen to these podcasts that we really hope inspires you and helps feel more peaceful and empowered.
Yes.
So from our hearts to yours, namaste. Love you.
Take care, everybody.